Around the Table with Vickie. Just like gathering around the dinner table with loved ones and friends, we're here to share stories, insight, and inspiration.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Around the Table with Vickie. I'm your co-host, Chris Runk, and to my right, as always, the star of the show is my mother, Vickie Runk.
Hi, everybody. Excited today.
And if you're listening on radio, make sure you go check out VickieTalk.com. There you will find all of our links to our podcast channels. We're also filming this, so you can actually watch us on YouTube and Spotify, and you can watch us go back and forth. It's a great time. Also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Those are great spots to kind of get connected with us. We love to hear from you. And you can see some behind-the-scenes clips that we put out throughout the week leading into the new show. But, Mom, today we're excited. We're going to do a quick little 15-minute mini-series split into 2 different episodes. So make sure you don't tune away. Once this episode's done, stay on. And we're going to hear from a really special couple that is living at Liberty Ridge, one of our communities at Runk Pratt, and talk about their journey with us and coming to find us. And we'll hear from our corporate activities director, Crystal Kersey. And I like to say she runs on all things fun.
She does.
And she'll talk a little bit about senior socialization and activities.
And how important it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I know going into the show, we made a list of guests that we had to have on the show. And one of the very top guests is joining us today, the Waltons.
Right. Yes.
And I'm going to let you introduce this special couple.
Well, yes, my friends, Shirley and Lloyd Walton are with us today. Say hello.
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 Nice to be here.
Nice to have you.
Nice to be here.
Yes, and Christopher's right. In the very beginning, when we're planning out the episodes, and we knew we had to do 52 shows or thereabout, whenever we signed on with the radio station and then our podcast series, you guys were 2 that just popped up at the top of my list.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
We'll come and share our experiences with the Runk and Pratt story.
That's right. So I met you, and you were just telling me you've been with us 15 months now.
Right.
So congratulations. I met you going in and out of the facility, as I do at times, and you were sitting under the portico in the chairs there, and you just met me with such glee and jubilation about how happy you were there. And that's a little unusual for me to get that kind of a welcome, because usually I'm being told that the air conditioner's either not working in one of the rooms or we need to change our salt intake or all the things that's so important to everybody, and it certainly is. And I can usually jump in and fix something while I'm there. But you were so different because you let me know that truly you felt like God had placed you there.
Absolutely.
So tell our listeners and our viewers a little bit about your decision to come to independent living, because I think it's so interesting with you two. With assisted living, that's just a placement out of need. You know, we've broken a hip or we just can't make it at home anymore alone. But you two actually go more than you've ever been. You're so active. You're so independent. And so to give up your home at that stage in your life, Shirley, explain the thought process that went behind all that.
Well, I had lots of friends asking, oh, aren't you sad about leaving your home? Because we had that home built and everything, and helped design every inch of it and all that good stuff. But I loved coming to be with you all. We had a very pleasant situation with Lloyd's sister at the Pearls of Life. And when we needed, the house got too big. The yard was too big.
A lot of work.
We decided, hey, it's time we do something else. And we, as I say, we made the decision and then called our children and told them what we were doing.
I love that. I love that.
Because, listen, we laugh and tell them we're still in charge.
That's exactly right. I still try to tell mine that to this day.
Trust me,
But
she is.
anyway, we came and it's a perfect fit, Lloyd says. He needs to chime in and tell you that.
Tell us, Lloyd.
Oh, yes. We, 2 years ago, if someone had said to us, well, you two may be thinking about moving into a retirement facility at some point, I probably would have said, No, we're still making it pretty well here at home. But as you get along in years, or at any time really, you can have various things to develop that change your thinking a little bit. Number one, we found that our home just got larger and larger and larger.
It started growing.
Yeah, and we couldn't keep up with everything. And I was really in January of 23, I was in the hospital for about 3 or 4 days. And Shirley was talking with some of you all in Runk Pratt. Yeah, with marketing. And she said something to me about it. I said, well, go ahead and pursue it.
He was in the hospital, and he went in on Sunday, and this was Tuesday. He says, call Runk Pratt. And so we did.
Yeah.
I called Patrick and Alicia right there in the hospital.
Let's talk about Patrick. You shared a story with me off screen and off the radio waves that Lloyd's sister was in at Pearls. So she had Alzheimer's and dementia, and you guys had been called in because she was at the end of her life.
Right.
And you had spent 3 days kind of in and out, and you went in, and Patrick said, you guys are tired, go on home.
And because he says you need to prepare yourself for what's to come.
That's right.
Because we knew she could not live much longer.
Right. But in your absence, Patrick held your sister's hand, Lloyd, as she was departing this earth, because you guys were so tired. And that left an impression on you that if an administrator would step in where a family could not be and be with a dying resident, that's the place you wanted to go. You wanted that kind of care and compassion.
It gave you such a peace of mind.
It was just wonderful. And you know, it makes you think about something when you're in the hospital. Of course, we'd been slowing down considerably. I always enjoyed doing a garden, and Shirley always enjoyed many things that she got busy all the time.
Well, Christopher, these are your type of people right here, gardening and plants.
I love it.
Yeah,
we
that's
just
my
love
hobby
it.
right there.
And we still love the outdoors today because we have some property, a farm really over in Pennsylvania, and so I one in Appomattox where she grew up and where I grew up. And we just enjoy that. But we came to the point that we knew we could not continue without looking at a place where we could be cared for. And we have loved every minute since we moved into Runk Pratt, Liberty Ridge. We have enjoyed every bit of it.
Beautiful people, wonderful staff. I could go on and on. My list is long.
And you're not bored, right, Shirley?
Never.
No, never.
When we were moving in, a dear lady who was at Runk Pratt that was Lloyd's admin for 18 years said to me, she's there, and she said to me, she says, if you get bored here, it's your fault.
I love that. Well, Lloyd, let's tell our listeners, too, what you did for 18 years right there in Appomattox County.
Yes, I was superintendent of Appomattox County Schools for 18 years. And, of course, I graduated from Appomattox County High School in 1954. Went back to, went to Pennsylvania County where Shirley and I started out teaching in the same high school, Dan River High School, and that's where we met.
So neat. And Shirley, you just shared with me when we were getting you to do a mic check, you said, I know a little something about television. I did 28-minute spots on WSET.
Right.
So she's coming after my job, guys, and we're going to let her fill in.
No. I'm not coming after your job. But,
I might need you one day, Shirley.
Well, I sure would help. You know that. But anyway, by virtue of my assignment with the Cooperative Extension in Appomattox, I did 28-minute programs, and we rotated, and I did. In a 2 months' time, I probably did 3.
Well, you're experienced then. That's wonderful.
And so, anyway, had lots of fun.
Yeah, it's fun meeting all these wonderful people that get to sit right here on this couch. But I will say that you're 2 of my favorites that have been here so far.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I just love your attitude. And I think that our listeners and viewers can learn that even when life gets a little tough at times and you know that the aging process is starting to catch up with you, that it's all about your attitude and it's all about how you look at life. And you guys have chosen, you made an intentional choice to feel good about all the changes that had to
Right.
take place during that time.
And we had, when we inquired about how soon we could get in, and were told, and we wanted a 2-bedroom apartment, which we have, and it's wonderful. We have plenty of room, and
I will say those 2-bedroom apartments at Liberty Ridge are exceptional.
you know, Vickie, being a home economist, I worked on many house plans and many cleaning up house plans when somebody was going to build something. And the other day, I was sitting in my chair and looking around, and I thought every inch of space in this apartment has been utilized to great advantage for good management, ease of use,
That's right.
and beauty.
That's right.
It's just
Well, you're such a beautiful person, Shirley. I thank you so much for joining us here today. Thank you for letting the listeners and the viewers take a little glimpse into the Waltons' life. And let me tell you something, honey. I am proud to say that you are our friends. And more importantly now, you guys are family.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank
Come
you.
back, okay?
We will.
Thank
you.
We should.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, we just heard from the Waltons.
They were
And
awesome.
Weren't they amazing?
I love them.
That's an incredible couple.
Yes.
But earlier, I referenced the Queen of Fun,
That's
and
right.
she would be joining us on the second half of the show. And
There we go.
listeners, get ready, because
Yes.
we got Crystal Kersey's in the house, and she is our corporate activities director of all of our facilities.
Yes, she
so
is.
we're excited to have her on today.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
Crystal.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Crystal, why don't we start by letting our viewers and our listeners kind of just learn about who you are as a person. Tell us how long you've been with Runk Pratt, and kind of how you knew, what time into your life that you knew that this was going to be what you really wanted to do with your life.
So I have been with Runk Pratt 9 years. I started at Liberty Ridge as a activity assistant.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah, I was an
Yeah.
assistant. Jumped in with both feet. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then I had an opportunity to become a director.
Mm-hmm.
There was no hesitation. Yes, I will do it. So I did that at Liberty Ridge for a few years. And then I was fortunate enough to dabble in the memory care unit.
So when Pearls of Life came onto our plate and we went in and got everything ready, I remember coming to you and saying, I can't think of a better person to direct and lead the activities program at Pearls of Life. And Pearls of Life is specifically for Alzheimer's and dementia. And so it's a locked, secured environment to where we provide care, and most importantly, the safety from wandering. So it's locked and secured, that one may need whenever that diagnosis is given and their care begins to progress. And you just jumped in and made a phenomenal program at Pearls. Tell me a little bit about your love and passion for Alzheimer's and dementia.
I have a
Patients.
very big passion for that. My grandmother had dementia, so I definitely went through a hard time with that, taking care of her as well. But when that opportunity come to me, I never hesitated. I wanted to do it. And since I jumped in there, when people think of memory care, when they think of, secured facilities, they think, once your parents or loved one go there, that's pretty much it.
It's over. Yes.
It's not.
It's the beginning.
It's the beginning for me.
Yes, yes.
So I always, I try to instill everything that these folks used to do in their lifetime.
Their daily routine now.
Yes,
Yeah.
daily routines. I started with men groups, for our men, cooking shows for our women, that love to cook.
Right.
We don't want to take that stuff away from them. We want them to
We
be-
want to remind them every day of what they
Yes.
used to be and who they currently are. And so you and I have had several closed-door meetings to where we say, we can be the best in the area. And I think we're the best on the East Coast when it comes to activities. And that's primarily because of you and your passion to serve that population. And so tell us a little bit about Pearls of Life in general, because I want to just focus just a few minutes on that memory care facility being state-of-the-art, two sensory rooms,
Yes.
and the life skills rooms, which I I set up for you guys, and you took that vision that I had and you just ran with it. Tell us a little bit about those 4 spaces.
So, first of all, our sensory room. We have our rainforest room that was designed by Mr. Chris Runk.
That's right.
And they are awesome. And not only does our residents love them, but our families love them. They go in there and they spend quality time, with their loved one. It's definitely we are not about medicating, our residents.
So that's an alternative for them. It's a space to where they can go, be together, and all their inhibitions kind of get lost in that room. Wouldn't you say that?
Yes, absolutely.
And we've seen some great success stories out of those sensory rooms to where families are able to sit longer with them because they're calmer.
They're calmer, absolutely.
And it's creating a space to where they can connect, which is that's what we love to see.
Yes, and then we also have our up and away room, again designed by Chris, and that is our hot air balloon. It looks just like a hot air balloon, and we have a TV playing with all kinds of scenes of hot air scenery. Great place to go in there and just use their imagination. And we go places that they've never been before.
Right, but they're there right then.
Yes.
Yeah, I love to come and visit with you guys and actually have a group in that room. And I was there recently, and we had a couple of women that as they were sitting in the hot air balloon that simulated there. And when I began to point out on the screen, see this house here and see this car. And we started creating these stories together about how, Matilda's house was here, and then Ethel's house was next to her, and how they lived next to each other, and it was in Switzerland. And it was such a great time to watch their mind actually working. It may have not been actually working the way we would have thought it would have been, but in that moment, they were in that town, they were neighbors, and they were driving the cars in Switzerland because that was what was on the screen. And that is so much of what we do instead of reaching for those medications. Our staff is trained to let's take them to an alternative area to get their mind off of whatever it is that's upsetting them at the time. It could be that the weather's bad outside and they've heard some thunderstorms and they're afraid. And so our staff and your girls are so good at doing the alternative space for them to kind of calm them down.
Right. And like you said, it's all about living in the moment. Going back to our skilled rooms that you got it on point when you got those. We have our women's skilled room that has the stove and the baby crib and the refrigerator. We do a lot of our cooking classes there because it looks like a kitchen. It looks like a home. Yeah. And that's what our ladies are used to. We have our men's skilled room that we have our veterans uniformed mannequins in there with train stations. And that's a great place. Matter of fact, I've had so many socials in there for our men's group. We do Father's Day. We do Veterans Day. All these events in those rooms.
Right. So we have the military represented on 4 mannequins in there, the branches. I've said before, my dad's military Army fatigues are in there. I'm proud of that. And then we have a really unique antique flag that I found in an antique store. And that's presented in the room, an old traffic light, and the train itself, there's a mural painted behind the train.
Yes.
And I love to go again and simulate thoughts with those residents. We had a lady that she and I went over the hill and we saw what we could see. And then she was headed to a different town. And in her mind, those 15 minutes I spent with her, I watched her mind working, which is really what our goals are for activities.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, also what I hear you saying with both of those stories, the sensory room story and the hillside story, you're meeting that resident where they're at.
In that moment.
Yeah,
absolutely. Speaking of that, Christopher, you were 2 years old when Runk Pratt was founded. And one of the things that you were kind of brought up in was to find the activities director in whichever community we were in for the day working. And you became their best bud. And you helped call bingo and all the things. So you have a great appreciation for this position as well.
I do. I mean, those activities directors were my babysitters.
Yes, that's true. And they were told, don't let him out of your sight. Yeah.
So while mom was working, dad was working, I was out on the floor with those activities directors, and that was the highlight of my day. And I always tell
with a few French fries from the kitchen, and maybe some chicken nuggets,
fed, and lots of little ice cream, cones and those kind of things. But those were fond memories. I tell anybody I can call a mean game a bingo. I love all that.
And that's still their favorite thing to do is bingo, right, Crystal?
Love-
It doesn't matter how many big activities we plan. If it's bingo and there's prizes, that's always going to take the top prize.
Love bingo and any kind of food social we can find. If it's a National Food Day, I'm going to find it. We're going to find it, and we're going to celebrate it.
Yeah. And you can go to Runk Pratt's Facebook page to where we feature all these wonderful activities that Crystal plans. And we don't hide anything. We're really transparent and all of that. Not to mention all the trips. Talk about your bus trips.
Oh, we have had so many. Again, with memory care, I don't feel like they should just be shut down. You know, we go to movies. We've gone out to eat. We go to the local strawberry patch and pick strawberries.
And ice cream places are their favorite.
We love ice cream places. We even go, come fall, we're in the pumpkin patches. You know, we go places to have picnics for National Picnic Day. You know, we've been to farms, you know, all these
Scenic
places.
drives, which
Scenic
they
drives
love.
every week, yeah.
And I know with you, one of the things that you and I have talked about with this Facebook age, to really be able to connect with the families that may be sitting in an office somewhere working while mom or dad is out doing all these great things with you, is that you always take a little bit of time to go live on Facebook, which in the early days, Christopher really got a little bit of indigestion about that because he wasn't sure that it would always present the way we wanted it to present. But how that has come into where we are here in 2024 now, with really connecting with families, and they may live out on the West Coast or somewhere and just really want to see how mom's doing and what she's doing. And so we do use social media. Christopher, you can talk a little bit about that to our benefit.
Yeah, back in, I forget the exact year, but we actually won a Best Practices Award from VALA. And you can help me with what the acronym is for that. But
it's the Virginia Association, Assisted Living Association. So we did win a pretty high up award for that.
That was awesome. I mean, that really helped kind of connect those families, and then to have the whole state of Virginia kind of take notice that we were making a difference. And like Mom said, that was the goal, was to really be transparent. And for those families that didn't live local, they could see exactly what Mom and Dad were doing inside of our communities by posting videos, posting those pictures, and they could see that they weren't just sitting in their room idle. They were out on the bus with you, going to the orchards. They were taking ice cream socials, and I think that's been huge for us. I know it makes those families feel loved and feel special that Mom and Dad are being taken care of.
And we need to probably clarify, too, our bus trips are for residents that can get themselves on and off the bus themselves, so we don't do wheelchair transportation with any of that. That's kind of something that they'll stay behind. And we have another activity specialist that stays and does things on their level. So these trips are really for mobile people that don't present any kind of need for extra assistance when it comes to like a wheelchair. So
we definitely focus safety is definitely first when it comes to that.
And with that particular group too, we take some extra staff with us to make sure that we've herded everybody back together and got them all.
And
safe.
For the people that are not able to go out, we bring fun things in, whether it's petting zoos, the food, like when we go out to eat, the ones that can't get out, we bring the food into them. So we have a lot of takeout Tuesdays, fast food Fridays, things like that.
McDonald's, Burger King, Kentucky Fried.
Right. So everyone can enjoy everything. And
that takes a concerted effort on our team's, approach to activities. And one of the things that shortly after you'd gotten Pearl settled, I just came to you and said, Crystal, you really get it. Like, you and I connect with our vision. I know how to give something to you and you just run with it. So would you consider being the corporate director of activities for all of our facilities? And you took that on with such, grace, and you've done such a great job at it. And so you're not always at Pearls anymore. You do bounce around a little bit. That's still your home base, but you do bounce around. You just recently helped me get started the daytime program right here on Perryville Road, right in our offices. And we were just discussing we're getting ready to hit almost 25 residents over there, which
That's great.
You remember when we were just like, we would send some people over from Runk Pratt just to fill the seats in the early days. But talk to us a little about what we have going on in daytime. We mentioned Tower Gardens.
Oh, daytime is special. That, again, is a place where your loved one can come. that can't stay at home, but they do just as much as our other communities do. We have tower gardens for the ones that like gardening. We still do cooking things for them. They still go out to eat. We offer van rides, arts, crafts, the whole nine yards.
Music, lots of music.
Lots of music comes in.
Right. And the
I
tower
hang out
garden.
at the tower
yeah,
gardens.
you do.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting ready to share. Our tower gardens inside daytime are used seasonally to help grow whatever flowers Christopher's getting ready to place at the facility at each entrance. And I think that's so cool because it really does show that they're playing a very big role in making sure that they're watered and giving them a lot of love and singing to sometimes because we know plants love all that.
Yes.
And it gives the residents a chance to connect with a bigger, broader purpose. But I've seen him come in here and get all the clippings and then go, and we send them to you guys at the facility level, and you guys do all the planting. And it's so cool to watch that little system work. It's something small to us, but it makes such a big difference.
The tower gardens are great. They're beneficial here just for flowers, but we use them in our other facilities, like our memory care. At Pearls, we use them. We plant lettuce,
And then y'all have salads.
and we have salads. And, so they're great. They're great in all of our facilities.
I think it also talks the attention to detail that we put on things. The fact that we're using another population and another facility to grow plants and herbs and starter plants for another facility and other volunteers or guests or families or residents can enjoy it. How cool is that?
It's like a little Disney.
It
The
is.
Disney moment here at Runk Pratt. Tell us, for those that are listening, that they may say, that all sounds so cool, and I think maybe I would love to volunteer. Is there a website or a phone number that they can go to check more into about volunteerism with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Each of our communities has an activity director. So you could reach out to any of those communities and reach out to the activity director, and they can get you all the information
So
that
if you
need.
want to volunteer at Smith Mountain Lake, then you can just go to www.runkandpratt.com, go up and under Smith Mountain Lake tab, and it'll give you the phone number.
Or email us at info@runkandpratt.com.
Yeah, email us at info@runkandpratt.com, and we're happy to connect you. We can even put them directly in with you, and they can see which location they want to volunteer.
I can get you at any location that you feel like that you want to go.
Yeah, volunteers are such a huge part of what we're able to do. Yeah, I mean, right, Crystal? I mean,
You're
you
exactly
rely on
right.
those folks. I mean, so if listeners want to get involved, I mean, we would gladly.
We would gladly have
And
you.
we do volunteer luncheons for our volunteers once a year, and it's always about 150, 160 in the ballroom at the hotel that come out so we can celebrate them. That's a lot of people, and we could not do it without them. Liberty University, the University of Virginia, Randolph-Macon, all of the local higher education facilities have really played a big part in this as well, right,
Yes.
Crystal?
Yes, they have. All the colleges, we have a lot of volunteers that come from colleges, internships, all kinds, and we welcome them. We want to help those young folks that need their Christian hours, that need their Caesar hours. We want to help them. We know how it's important for their future.
Right. And the
to help 'em.
connections they make with our seniors, I always feel like they get a lot more out of it than what they think they're going to. So they come in and they say, oh, got to have community service hours. I'm just going to go in here and just, bide my time till it's all done.
But they come back.
They come back
come
and
back.
they want to do more, and they're a changed person, I think, because of the availability of investing in seniors. And I've loved to watch the initial vision 32 years ago really transpire now, and it be exactly what I had in my head way back in 1992. And here we are in 2024, and I see it working on all cylinders. And it's because of people like you, staff like you that aren't just staff, they're family. I know that you and I share a special relationship. You'll always be my friend forever. And I hope you're here forever.
Oh, yes.
But, there's a special place in my heart for Crystal Kersey. And I admire you for your talent. But most of all, I love your heart.
Thank you.
I love your heart.
I love what I do. And, they say if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
That's right. That's right.
So,
Well, Crystal, thank you for joining us on the show
thank you guys
today.
for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Mom, I know you always have a special quote prepared for us to end each show with, and I know you got a good one for today.
I do. And just remembering that we just interviewed the Waltons, and I was thinking about the initial jump that they made from leaving their home into independent living. And I know that they must have prayed a prayer much like this. This is a verse that's taken from Romans 8:25. But if we hope for what we do not yet have, we wait for it patiently. Lord, today we ask for your grace of patience in all circumstances. Romans 8:25 reminds us, but if we hope for what we do not yet have, we wait for it patiently. Teach us to trust in your timing, God, to wait with hopeful hearts. Help us to remain steadfast and faithful, knowing that your plans for us are all good. As I close out this session, I want to just encourage everybody that's listening today and following us here on podcast visually that you spend moments just understanding that God doesn't always say no. He just says not now. And it's in those times that we learn patience. And at the end of that journey, we know that God's got something good for us. I can't wait to see you next time. Have a great week.